Blender 5.0 sure is come with new modifiers, new nodes and other various improvements. Interesting stuff, but let's be honest, not everyone is excited enough to download a whole new version, reconfigure ZK maps, adjust their settings and reinstall add-ons that might not even work. But there is one update in the new version that's generally important. Yes, you can finally select UV vertices without touching shaded ones. You no longer have to live in the cursed non-sync mode where it's barely clear what parts of the geometry you're manipulating. People often criticize Blender UV editor, but the new release makes a huge difference. This feature alone can remove entire external tools from your pipeline, or even push you to fully switch to Blender, if you haven't already. Many people might be puzzled about why this wasn't done early. Because it's really hard. Difficult API, tricky optimization detail, messy synchronization logic. Let me quickly explain why older versions like 4.5 selected shared vertices. Blender uses a data structure called bmesh to handle meshes in edit mode. It stores pointers to vertices, edges, faces and all relationships between them. We care about bmvert, which stores coordinates, connected edges, index and tags. But 3D software also uses something called bmloop, also known as a corner or even half edge. It's basically the vertex of a specific face. bmloop helps with various logical tasks, but for our purposes let's simply assume that. In 3D view you interact with bmvert, in the UV editor you interact with bmloop. Without going too deep, let's focus on the flags field. Depending on the element, it can store the selection status, height status, or a tag. And here's the issue. bmloop uses the same selection flag as its bmvert. There can be thousands of loops per vertex, but only one bmvert flag, meaning you simply couldn't have separate selection states. Blender 5.0 finally adds UV-specific flags to bmloop, which makes it possible to individually control the selection state. The problem was never just add a flag. The problem was rewriting the overlay system, keeping selection states synchronized between UV and 3D editors, and making sure it provides a simple, reliable API for add-ons. Performance impact: almost none. When you work with UVs, it activates and uses a tiny bit of CPU, practically unnoticeable. When you don't, it's turned off and behaves just like 4.5. Everything is nicely thought out. Some of you probably run off to download Blender 5.0. Others can't for various reasons, so here are ways to survive and even work faster in the old Blender. Use face mode. Face mode doesn't suffer from the sync issue. A surprise number of operations can be done there. Simple but effective. After UV. If you hate sync mode, why torture yourself? Just throw a smart UV project on it and move on. Who needs UVs anyway? Take the radical path. Procedural coordinates, triple layer mapping, no UV pain, pure happiness. Sync toggle, the real workaround. To avoid the shared vertex selection problem, you must swap to non-sync. But doing it manually is annoying. Select geometry so you can see it in non-sync. Switch modes, do your edits, switch back. Deselect everything so you don't break the next operation. Way too clunky. That's where the add-on comes in. You can get the light version for free right inside Blender. Or grab Pro and even experimental builds from the Discord. The toggle sync operator handles everything for you. Selection transfer, deselection, switching modes, keeping your selection state consistent. Non-sync still exists in Blender 5.0, by the way. Why? People use it as a material slot isolation tool. Not my thing, but it's still there. Who said you need to leave non-sync? Non-sync doesn't show what your selection in real time, but the delayed UV overlay system does. It displays highlighted elements so you can navigate comfortably. The pick system. One of UV's most important features. It lets you work with UVs without selecting anything. The star example is a drag operator. Hold Alt-K map and move your mouse. Pick detects the nearest island and transforms only that. 9 boring islands remain untouched. It's a Swiss army knife of UV manipulation. Another one, quick snap. It works with multiple islands or only vertices depending on mod. Use Alt-V to enter vertex mode. No shared vertex issues whatsoever. Pick also powers hide without all the bugs of Blender's default hide. It's used in Unwrap to hover, press U and wrap precisely. Shared vertices in untouched islands stay unharmed. Box view block. Yeah, I'm a bit late with this one. The idea, anything selected outside central area ignored. When lock activates, it shows a blue overlay. Right now it's implemented for aligned and orient. Extremely practical. Blender's UV editor evolves slowly, but it does evolve. We've already seen the improved Packer and the new Unwrap algorithm. Is Blender better at UV editing than Maya? Not by itself. Blender still lacks many convenience operators, but Blender with UniV? Absolutely yes. And the next UniV release is going to be hot. A full working Unwrap along axis is coming. It took me ages and almost didn't work at all. But the final result is on your screen. Many of you only use 5-10% of UniV. I should probably make a full guide soon. UniV fully supports Blender 5.0 and even keeps backward compatibility all the way to 3.2, a release from 4 years ago. I would like to talk about how I improved the core of Blender by adding support for protocols that speed up add-ons by up to 4 times in some cases. I wanted to talk about the added features and functions, as well as the fixes, but the video has already gone on too long, and it was supposed to be released at the same time as Blender. So, that's all for now.